Ever been around someone and thought, do you even know me? I'm Heather.
And I'm Alyssa.
I'm an unlicensed therapist.
And I'm a professional overthinker.
This is
our podcast. Hey Jared, are you okay?
Yeah. Are you lonely?
I'm fine.
Are you sure?
So, we've been hearing that men are having kind of an issue lately.
Yeah, a big issue.
And we just wanted to make sure you're okay.
Like, truly okay.
There's pills for that, so.
But this, as you guys heard, is Jared.
He's our target for today.
Our target.
It's not going to be bad.
We're going to take him out.
No. Also, we look like this because we're going to a party later. All right, so we'll just get right into it.
I think so.
So a recent Pew Research study reveals that 63% of men aged 18 to 30 report being single compared to just 34% of women in the same age group. On top of that, a study from the University of Toronto found that women tend to deal with being single better than men do and are, quote, happier with the single status, the quality of their lives, the quality of their sex lives, and they desire a partner less. And then Elaine Hone, who is a PhD candidate in the Department of Psychology, says that the results build on existing research that shows men fear singlehood more than women do, and that they struggle to navigate the expectations of traditional masculinity. Now, this is purely anecdotal on my end, and it's just something that I've kind of noticed, and that women, whenever they break up, they tend to, like, go upwards or, like, have, like, a, you know, they call it, like, a glow up or whatever.
Yeah.
But sometimes men tend to go towards substance abuse or addiction or stuff like that. So, I have a question, and I'll start with Jared.
Okay.
So, as a younger man, do you feel like it's harder now for guys to form meaningful relationships, both romantic and platonic, than in previous generations? And obviously, you can't speak for previous generations.
But like, maybe thinking of, like, you know, your grandpa or, like,
yeah.
you know, hearing stories. Do you think that it's harder now to, like, form a meaningful relationship?
Yeah.
You can get into any relationship, but meaningful.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with the basic response of I believe it has to do a lot with social media and, like, arm candy more than actually having a relationship.
I fully agree with that, honestly.
So, like, look to have someone make you look good.
Yeah.
Now, are you saying that for women or for men?
For women, look for that. Men, I feel, are a little bit less on that scale.
I agree with that, honestly.
Wait, so less on that they want arm candy?
I feel like they would want a decent relationship.
Interesting, because in previous generations, let's break that down.
Oh, yeah.
In previous generations, they wanted the woman to be like the perfect wife or arm candy or present this picture. But I can totally see it flipping where women are like, is he going to make me look good?
Right.
You know?
I think for women, it's a lot more about status, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Women are definitely the players now.
I think women can be very manipulative.
Absolutely.
I really do.
Yeah.
As a woman, I know. You know, but, okay. So, why do you think men tend to fall towards addiction and isolation when women tend to go towards friends or hobbies, like, whenever they break up? Do you think a lot of it has to do with just, like, I don't know, social media keeping up and, like...
I feel... men nowadays are really insecure about everything.
Yes.
Because their whole lives they've been told to bottle it up and stuff. So
100%.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
100%.
That is a topic that I want to go off on because it's so true.
So instead of getting back out there, there's no guy power. There is girl power.
That's true.
That's about it.
That's true.
So, like,
do you think also with, like, women kind of being in higher positions now and, like, kind of out-earning men in some cases, not always, but do you think them just kind of taking over in a way and being more empowered kind of leads towards that a little bit? Like, men feeling more insecure about that?
maybe if you feel like if your money, so if you feel like you're not making enough money, you can't afford a certain quality of girl, then maybe that's what they would feel like. But
I think that's true.
Yeah.
I think that women put that out there though, honestly.
I think they do.
I think they put out there that like what you make, your status is very important to me because I deserve that or whatever. That's their, and I think that sadly they end up overlooking some pretty awesome people.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider myself that way, but I know
I'm not.
And honestly, none of my girlfriends are that way.
Yeah,
but I do notice it with my sister. And my sister is she's Gen Z, but she's like younger, so she's 21.
Yeah.
But she, I was listening to someone say, they were talking about confirmation bias. Mm-hmm. And so, like that, I would have a confirmation bias of our generation. And I'm going to lump you in because I feel like how old are you? You're 28, right?
This week,
yeah.
So you're like, you're old, you're not like young Gen Z. So he's
a millennial.
Sorry. But I think that's kind of like a confirmation bias of like women do want this like high earning man. And I do think some older ones do still want that. But I was listening to something about confirmation bias and how one generation's confirmation bias, which would be women want men who make a lot of money, tends to be the next generation's reality.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, I can kind of see that. And then, like, because my sister, I see it with her and her friends, and they all kind of, like, expect that.
They do.
I remember before she I think she was, like, 16 at the time, she didn't understand why I was still living at home. And she's like, why? Like, that's so lame. Like, why are you? And then I'm like, girl, just wait. And now, like, she sees how expensive shit is, and... so I don't know.
Okay, but I'm also like, because I am Gen X, right?
Yes.
And for me, like, maybe it's just a me thing or what I've been through, but like, I'm totally good being the bigger breadwinner. Like, I'm totally good making the better money. In fact, it's kind of nice. Like, like, I don't ever look at it as like, oh, well, I'm doing, because like, I feel like you can be with someone who comes in with different things to offer to the relationship. And it doesn't have to be money or status or like, oh, I have a house and all that. Like, I think those things are so trivial.
It is. I think so.
I don't think it necessarily has to do with generations or more like how you were raised, period.
Well, my mom and dad were very much. Go ahead. Sorry, I was gonna like.
Oh, they raised you to be a trophy wife, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Like, well, no. I mean,
no, they were.
I mean, honestly, like I remember my mom when she started working out the house. My dad made me and my sister be basically the wives at home. Like I had to fold his laundry. I had to put it on his bed. Me and he had to have dinner ready for him. Like we had this. Like we had to forfeit our evenings to make sure he was properly taken care of and cared for. And I think that's like why for me, I'm like, I want it to be equal. Like not even money wise. I'm talking about like care wise. Like if I'm making more money and I'm working the jobs, like if I'm, I want someone that's going to be like, yeah, I'll go in and cook. Like, I'll go, like, it doesn't need to be this, like, this is a woman's job. Yeah, no roles. I think roles are fucking stupid.
I agree.
Honestly.
I fully agree with
I think they're dumb. And I think it's sad. And I feel bad for guys who think they're worth less because they are not where they think they should be in life.
I so agree with that.
I think it's wrong.
Yeah. I just know... I have met men that make a lot of money, and then I have met men that don't make a lot of money, and I would prefer to be with the men that don't.
Same.
Because they're just.
I'm sorry, not sorry. A lot of guys that I meet that make a lot of money are dicks.
Yeah, I don't want to.
And they know they make a lot of money, and they expect a certain. In fact, a friend of ours, who we're going to her party tonight, was telling me about her friend who is. He makes a lot of money and he talks about his friends and how they expect a certain caliber of woman. Like they wouldn't even look at her. You know how pretty she is.
Yes.
They wouldn't even look at her because she didn't have fake boobs and she doesn't like have this because they make all this money and they expect their women to be a certain way.
If they make all the money, can't they buy the boobs?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
so
saying. But
stupid.
I'm just saying like that. I don't want that.
No.
Fuck your money. That's how I feel. Dude. Like, no. Get out. Like, I don't want your money. I'll make my own.
That is so crazy. I was listening to this podcast and this guy, he was a divorce attorney and he was writing up a prenup for this couple, and the guy was like a high earner.
Which I think prenups are amazing.
I do too.
I think even when you don't have a lot of money,
Yeah.
there should be a prenup.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. But his client was a high earner, and he had in his prenup that if she gains over a certain amount of weight, she does not get X amount of money. I don't remember what the exact terms were, but
that is...
I mean, she agreed to it, I guess. But, like, that's crazy.
That's ridiculous. Now, do I understand you're going to like a certain type, or you might find a certain, like, some people, but, like, if you really love them, to write that in, like, you know, that's, like, so superficial.
It is. And I guess his, like, whole thing was, this is what I'm bringing to the table. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, okay, you both keep doing it. We're just like, blah, blah, blah.
I'm sorry.
What were we going to say?
I don't know. I was trying to build a thought while you were talking.
Sorry. I think his whole thing was, I bring having all this money to the table, she brings the looks to the table. And, like, I don't know. It's not...
vapid.
Yeah.
Vapid
yeah.
roles.
It's not what I would be in, but I guess, like, if she's cool with that, good for her. I don't know.
I mean, that just tells him what she's in it for.
I mean...
Yeah.
So if I got married to somebody and all of a sudden they start...
Aging.
Not even aging, just, like... Just, they become someone... Like, they become more relaxed. Mm-hmm. And that's not what you want out of a marriage. And you hope that they would continue being the way they already were.
Yeah.
But once they start changing and stuff like that, then that's what... But, yeah, the weight thing, I don't know. But it might be a series of other things, too.
When you say more relaxed,
like if you gain 300 pounds and start adopting 18 cats...
See, that's like that...
That's a little extreme.
That's extreme, okay?
Yeah.
Like, that is definitely... And it has happened.
It has.
Like, what do you mean by relaxed? Because I think that there is a level of relaxation that happens when you've been in a relationship for a while. So,
yeah,
like,
I'm not talking about, like, not wearing makeup around the house.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, like, literally not taking care of yourself.
I get that. So, like, if you're someone who's, like, into fitness and working out, eating healthy, and then, like, you just start pounding down, like...
cheeseburger.
Yeah. I mean, I could see it, actually.
It's just like, oh, I don't have to work anymore.
I don't have to care anymore.
Yeah, we reached the finish line.
I think
there is
that,
a finish line.
Yeah, I think that goes into the fact that, like, I think before you ever marry somebody or get into that kind of a relationship, who you are should be who you want to be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, so you're not making yourself for somebody else. You're making yourself for yourself. So when you start that relationship, there isn't a change because you're doing what you're doing for yourself.
For yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think if you started doing that drastic of a change, there's something more at play there. Like, there's definitely some kind of, like...
Like, ladies, do not lose weight to catch a man. Period. Lose weight if you want to lose weight and you feel good losing weight for yourself.
Yes.
Do not lose weight. Men, same thing.
Yeah.
Don't lose weight for somebody else. Don't work out because you're like, I'm going to catch a, girl. Like, do it because you want to, or change whatever you want to about yourself because it's something that you want to change.
Yeah.
And I think that's like...
So I have a
don't ever
friend.
do something for somebody else. Do it for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
exactly.
okay, I want your input on this. So I have a friend who... She already said that if her boyfriend started putting on, like, a certain amount of weight, she would stop having sex with him in order to get him to lose weight.
And not tell him about it?
I
So
think
he'll
she
just
told...
catch
No,
on
she,
one day?
she would
okay.
tell him. So what are your thoughts?
It's motivation, I guess.
That is true. I mean, honestly, for guys, I feel like that's
But
pretty
that's also
motivating.
kind of, like, sad. Like, maybe I'm so big on communication in a relationship.
It is kind of bullying, I guess.
I think it
Yeah.
is.
She
I think
goes
it's a
around and
little,
be like,
I'm kinda
getting kind of tubby
I
there.
mean, this was forever ago. Like, I don't think she still has this same view, but I was just like, okay.
But I
Damn,
think
girl.
you should. I think communication's so big. I'm so
Yeah.
big on communication, like talking and being like, "Hey, like, are you good? Like, do you,
I feel like
are you feeling like depressed? Like, what's going on? Like, kind of finding out what is the deeper issue here because by that point you should know your person."
Yeah.
Oh, my stomach just gargled.
I feel like that would lead them to open to, like, to cheating too, possibly. Like, if they're, feeling shamed at home.
I'm gonna hold my bee.
That or... I don't know. Like, you'll make them more depressed. You push them deeper into that hole.
You wouldn't feel comfortable around your person anymore.
I would just I think it's just like that is manipulation.
It is.
To me, that's like manipulation.
I think so too.
And girls like hold that a lot. And I'm gonna withhold my sex. Yeah. It's interesting because
if it was like in a joking manner, I would understand.
I just kind of want to bring it back, and I know you got more questions, but like you're talking about like the whole power dynamic kind of thing. So there is this TikTok going around, and one's like, "What is my wife's biggest pet peeve?" And the other one's like, "Oh no, what is my biggest pet peeve with my wife?" And then the other one going around is, "What is my biggest pet peeve with my husband?" So everyone noticed, and I noticed it too. And the husband one, the women are popping off.
Yeah.
I mean, popping off. Boom, 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 boom. Just tons of stuff.
Yeah.
You go into the other one, and it's literally guys in there being like, the only pet peeve I have is that I am this way, and she is so wonderful and beautiful. And then women going in there being like, me running here quickly to see if my husband's in here, or like women being like, I know Alex isn't in here, like, you know. And I'm just like that, and all the guys did is it, and I know it's probably a joke, but it literally came off like fear.
I was just gonna say, I think a lot of them don't feel safe opening up about that because they'll get piled on, like they'll get attacked.
Will. And the women could just go off. I mean, they were going off about everything that their husbands.
Because guys now are easily replaceable.
Yeah.
And that's my other question. Well, you know how you said like 64%?
We're getting into that one later.
Okay. I would say 64% of women are or whatever it was, like guys have there are a lot less guys in relationship than women. Is that because of women per men?
We're gonna be we're getting there. Okay, so Heather, do you think modern dating culture, like the apps, social media, has made men more disposable?
Absolutely.
In a place like we were just kind of talking.
100%.
Okay, so like I know, and I want to hear from a guy's perspective on this, because I've used a dating app one time a long time ago, and I only know as a woman, and I know it's a lot easier for women to get matched, but I hear men have to go through like sometimes 200 just to...
For instance, I went on to that dating site, and literally within the first day, I had 595
Holy
matches.
Shit.
Like, not matches, but like when, like they were telling, because I got the thing that tells you like who has clicked on you, 595.
Oh my God.
And that was within literally, I think it was the first day. I was just like overwhelmed, like what the hell, you know? It's insane. Like, it was just like, and then I wonder what a guy gets, you know, because like that is a ton. I couldn't even go through that.
Yeah.
You know?
So what is it like on the men's end?
Not a lot of matches, but not beautiful myself, but
what'd you say?
No, we have to I definitely just buy the premium version and right swipe on everyone and then filter through whoever liked me.
So a lot of guys have to like pay kind of to get like the unlimited swipes. Is that what it's for?
That is the name of the game.
So you can see who likes you.
It's a numbers game is what I've been
For me, the only reason I played for premium is so I could just see who.
Yeah.
Like instead of having to swipe through all the guys, I would just like, they'll like literally I said they'll come to me.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
And then I'll swipe through and figure out who I want to match with.
Yeah.
And like,
in my opinion, that's how the dating app should be set up, but it's not, because they have to make money somehow.
Right.
But yeah, just it's casting a net.
And then whoever.
And then you pick whatever fish you think you'll match with.
That's so wild.
But when you cast your net, are you looking at women's profiles? Like,
I don't read. Yeah,
looks?
when I'm swiping right on everyone, I don't read their profiles because that's a waste of time. When I match on them, then I'll read the profiles.
That makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, but I feel like women read the profile more
sure.
than
we do.
So,
oh yeah.
Oh, 100%.
If they even like
I was gonna say,
I don't know how it works.
All that mini.
It's definitely
I
psychotic.
swiped on very few.
Yeah.
It's definitely psychotic to not have a bio.
Yeah.
And I think if you are looking for a relationship, you should probably not have a whole bunch of silly stuff on there.
Yeah.
But what if you're a silly person?
I think he means like
this,
not serious.
Like I Googled all these pickup lines and put them in my bio.
Oh yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's really stupid. Because like on mine I had a picture
talk
of the
with
bee
them,
on my head, so like I'm
like talk with them and then go, do you want to hear a funny pickup line? And then you do that.
Well, can I ask though, like in your, because I really truly wonder what kind of, how many how many women go and have you noticed it's what I said, where women wait for the guys to like, so when you go on, do you just get this onslaught of women liking your profile, or do women wait like I did? Like, I didn't feel like I needed to go swipe on guys because they were coming in like crazy, so I waited and then went through the ones that swiped on me. Do you feel like you had a lot of girls just swipe on you before you swiped on them?
Yeah.
Okay.
They weren't the healthier ones that I would have picked, like emotional wise. So, but
what do you mean by that, Jared? What do you mean by not the healthier ones?
Something tells me a lot of them are probably not the healthiest.
Yeah. But no, I feel like it was definitely, I would swipe right on them, and then I would just get notifications like the next day or something like they liked you back. So I feel like they're weeding out too. So
yeah.
That's what the dating apps are, is just a sieve.
Yeah, but I didn't feel the need to swipe through guys.
Right.
At all. And I do wonder if a lot of women are like that, you know.
I think probably, yeah.
Because I would say there was no need.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I only had an experience one time, and it
probably the same thing.
I ended up just going out, like, dating the first guy that liked me, and then and it didn't end up well.
I usually just never respond to anyone.
Okay. You don't?
Ever, no. I just get matches, and you're like, okay, and then you're done.
Is it because I know girls don't typically reach out first? Like, if a girl
even if they
reached, you still wouldn't?
No.
What if it was like a funny, like...
No.
Nothing?
Wait, but why... Wait, you wouldn't respond?
No, I don't. I mean, again, I don't...
Unless
if you don't make enough money or have a nice car or anything, then you're just like, well, I can't do anything for her, so you just don't do anything. But you're like, she could have liked me. It's like,
that's sad.
It's very sad. But
that's really sad.
What's the next
I think
question?
that's like completely... I think that... And I don't think that's right, though.
No.
Like, there is girls...
I was gonna say, I am a girl that is with someone who's making none right now.
Yeah.
So...
0.
And he's awesome.
I just think that's the case. Like, I think there is girls, obviously, that could give a shit, you know? Mm-hmm. Is it because you get in your head and you're like, okay, I'm not even going to try with this person because why would they want me? But then my question is, why even go on the dating apps?
I don't know.
Okay. You don't know why? Just to get a little...
It's something like
you're
validation,
trying. You're
maybe?
Still trying.
Like, if the right person came along, maybe. Like, if you saw the profile and then you thought, like you know...
I'm okay with bums, or something like that.
Okay with bums?
You're not a bum.
You're not a bum.
I'm okay with bums.
I don't know. It'll have to feel like I'm not burdening them.
First of all, I just want to bring this out, too, because, Jared, you have a job. And you work a job. You have your own place. You do all that. So there is that freaking like thing that gets in guys' heads where they don't think they make enough. Or, you know, because here he is. He has his own place.
Yep.
He has a job. Yep. He has all those things. But, you know, because his truck is broken right now or something like that. Like it's just so sad that like you are doing and you are making things happen. It's just like in your mind, I feel like it's a belief system, right?
100%.
That internal belief system that like, oh, well, if I don't make this much, then I'm not valuable.
I think it's because social media is so loud. So like there's like such a small percentage of people. Like social media is not the majority of people.
But there is women out there that are like, you better make this much. You're not worth anything unless you make this much.
Well, then you know that's not somebody you want to be with.
No? Because I just always felt that I never had my life together. So why should I bring somebody else into that? But that's not the mind view that a lot of guys have. So
I think a lot of guys, I've heard a lot of guys say that.
Yeah.
A lot of them. Like, they don't think they're in the right place for a girl.
But what makes the right place? Like, it should
that's the thing, and then it continues.
Organic, natural,
right?
Like, you guys click, and, you know, it just works because, like, her views and your views, like like she could care less or doesn't give a shit about like these kinds of things, you know?
Well,
and so
yeah.
it just like
Well,
comes
where
together.
are you meeting this person?
Bumble? I don't know.
That'll be like the only spot where you can meet somebody instead of going to the bar,
Bars
and becoming an alcoholic and getting a DUI.
The gym. I've only had,
Yeah.
well, not a crunch.
you've
I
had
like
some
crunch.
creepies.
Crunch is great.
Yeah.
So far, no creepies.
No creeps.
At Planet, a lot
Yeah.
of creepies. A lot. Yeah, 'cause I was going to say, I would never. You know, like I said about the gym, if you come up and you say, oh, I like your shoes, that's going to get me to talk to you more than like, I like working out behind you.
That's not what I don't care what setting that's in. You just don't approach a girl that way.
Yeah, well, it happened. So.
I know it does.
Where you can, it's hard. I don't know. If you're working a job where you can have hobbies, I suggest doing that.
Yeah.
But other than that, if your time's totally taken up, you're going to be single for a while. Unless you want to get them on Bumble. You're not going to find somebody. It's going to be a lot harder to find somebody naturally because I feel like a lot of people are working a lot more hours.
That's very true.
I was
very
going to
true.
say, how do you meet someone organically?
I think doing hobbies and going out and doing things, like, that's how I met Andrew, but like, I know that that's not always the case.
That's why you said the gym. 'Cause that's where you met.
Well, that's where I met.
I know. But I'm still saying,
But the
like,
gym isn't a place where you should be meeting people.
I didn't intend to.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was in a spin class, and then, like, when you see, you know, it's like school almost. Like, you see the same people all the time, and then, like, a year later, like, you end up talking, and then it's just, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think.
Or I guess the gym shouldn't be where you're...
It shouldn't be where
Trolling.
you're
Your
trying.
focus is.
Yeah. You shouldn't be trying. Like, you should be going to the gym because you're going to the gym for yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say, the way that I've gone looking sometimes, because I look like a straight up bum. Like, I wear the baggiest clothes that could ever be. Like, if a guy was to be like, hi, when I look like that, I'd be like, I would have two reactions, like, are you okay?
Yeah.
And then my other reaction would be like, oh, maybe you're not, like, a fucktard, you know? Like maybe it's not all about how someone looks, because, like, I look tore up.
Yeah.
In fact, I would say probably 85% of the time I look really bad when I'm at the gym.
Or maybe they're like, she probably has low self-confidence because she left the house like that, and so she might be easy.
Different. Yeah. Totally the opposite. I have good self-confidence and I don't give a shit.
Yep.
So.
I never thought of it in that way. They think that you have low self-confidence.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
They'll find out differently very quickly.
Yeah, that's not the case for you. All right, so Google searches for Andrew Tate surged by 10,000% in 2022, showing massive engagement with his content. I'm sure, obviously, a lot of it was rage, like a lot of people hate watching.
Yeah.
But as a guy, do you think figures like Tate, Trump, people like that resonate because traditional institutions like school, media, politics no longer speak to young men?
For my generation, most of us don't take any of that seriously.
Yeah.
So, like, I know a lot of, like, the teachers and everything will harp on like, racial things or, like, how, like, everyone should be politically against each other. Like, most of my friends, we don't take any of that seriously at all. And it's just funny that people would think that you should take it seriously.
Are you talking politics or just
everything?
Anything? Like,
everything that would be polarizing. So, like, the fact that people think Andrew Tate is a, like, motivational person is funny.
That is funny.
It's very funny.
That is very funny.
People who, like, wholeheartedly believe in whatever political thing is hilarious.
Yeah.
Agreed.
The fact that you don't make up your own mind is hilarious.
I agree with that.
But I don't...
Sad and hilarious.
Yeah, just, I don't know, riding the bus and never, like, taking your own path is hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Do you think because there doesn't seem to be a lot of representation for men now, like, especially with how polarizing politics are, that maybe that's why a lot of younger guys are going towards people like Tate or, like, kind of red pill type shit, you know?
Can you...
Because...
So...
What?
When I was in high school, it was funny to be a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And
when
that's
you
what...
say funny to be a certain way, can you just explain what that certain way is? Only because, like, I don't understand. And maybe our viewers will want kind of understanding.
When I was in school, it wasn't political at all.
No.
So This is new.
It was anarchy when I was in school.
So, like, to play yourself as a character that you aren't. But a lot of kids don't understand that it's a joke.
The Andrew Tate?
Yeah,
Being
if you're...
yourself,
Yeah,
like,
so, yeah,
doing
say if
something
I
that you're
was...
not.
So I would portray myself as sort of like Andrew Tate. A lot of kids are now taking that really seriously and thinking that that's how it's supposed to be. I think Andrew Tate himself is also just joking.
You think so?
Even though
he
does
got arrested about human trafficking, so there's no joking there.
No, I mean, like, yeah.
I definitely think he rage baits. He rage baits for sure.
Yeah.
But I do think he's kind of a shitty.
He likes to make money off that shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Because he makes money off it. But
Right.
the kids aren't not making money off of it, and they're just living their lives like that.
Yes. But the kids don't know it, and then they end up...
Did guys disrespect women in the past because of that?
100%.
Sean Connery, we have Arnold Schwarzenegger, like working out and disrespecting women.
That's interesting because I'm gonna have to say,
but I guess
I disagree.
Yeah,
I'm coming in to say I disagree really fast.
Yeah,
I
think as a woman, we can see how.
I think that Andrew Tate is a piece of shit, and I think he very much believes what he's putting out there, but he's also found that he can get sheeple that he can drag along and pay for his bullshit beliefs. So I think he definitely amps it up because it's paid the bill, but the fact that he has human trafficked women, has abused women, is literally just a piece of shit of a human. It's what is not hilarious, but sad is that any man would look at that and be like, that's what I want to be like.
Right.
You know? Like,
well, I don't think men are, hopefully. Maybe some. But I would say the majority are younger. Like,
well,
young
that's what I'm saying.
guys.
Well, soon to be men.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, the fact that, not political, but people like him or Trump get to, like you said, you think it's a joke, right? Like, you guys pretend to be that way because it's a joke. Because you think they're hilarious because it's like, that no one would actually be that way, you know? But it's like you said, I think there is young guys that are literally growing up to be that way.
Yeah.
And it used to be that men absolutely hit their wives and beat them and things. And it was like, it's what you did.
Yeah.
Like,
that's nothing new.
No. But I think it's like trying to come back again.
Yeah.
You know?
But, well, in your experience, I know you don't think this way, but if you're like, no. If I'm talking about like for younger guys that do actually look up to someone like this. So I know that you don't take it seriously, but for a younger guy who does, would you say that the appeal to like the whole red pill takeover is more about empowerment, or is it more about resentment of women?
I believe it's not that's
Can you explain what red pill is, just for people that maybe haven't heard it?
So it's basically this whole thing. I think Andrew Tate kind of coined it. Was, it's based off of the Matrix, obviously. You can stay asleep and take the blue pill, or be awake and take the red pill. And so that's what he kind of calls this whole thing, is like, this whole red pill, like, you're awake, you know what's actually going on, and like, I feel like he kind of took...
Like, for men to know what's actually going on and to step back into what they consider their power.
Right. Well, he very much puts on a pedestal of, like, marriage and the woman being under, like, the man, yet he's not married himself, and he made all his money off of OnlyFans girls, and he's talked about how hitting women, like, that type of thing. And I agree. I think he's definitely rage baiting a majority of that, but I do think he definitely does that kind of stuff, and I don't think he has a problem with doing that kind of stuff to women. But would you say that for guys who look up to that and want to be like that it has more to do with empowerment of themselves or resentment of women?
Some guys want that kind of girl. Because
they want the power? Or because they have a resentment towards women?
I think they just have like a 1950s like way of thinking, and that's just the way they think.
Yeah.
I'm
thinking in terms of guys that are being called like an incel.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was trying to look for the word. As far as like incel, I don't think they'll be like Andrew Tate. I think they're more of like, I'm a nice guy, but they're actually not kind of thing.
I see that, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of my friends are nice guys, but not in that way.
Right.
They're just literally so nice that they get kicked to the curb a lot because, again,
they're friend-zoned.
Yeah.
That's sad.
And I feel like that's also a big problem with, like, relationships nowadays is, like, yeah, sure, he's safe. And that's not what they want.
I wouldn't say all of them because that's 100% what I want.
Yeah, but when you're when you're younger than 20, then that's not what they want.
That's true.
So you get beat up.
That is very true.
So
what's not safe though? What does that mean?
So
I think
through high school and everything, me and my friends will we'll talk to older ladies at our work and stuff like that, and they'll be like, "Oh, girls don't want you because you're marriage material," and stuff like that. And
so they want like an alpha man type thing is what they think.
They want an asshole.
They want what's fun for them
or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think they
like he has a boat, he has a truck, he has everything. But like he has a Mustang and he has all these fancy cars that his dad bought him and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
materialistic.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what develops the guys who think like Andrew Tate because they just act like that, and the only reason why the girl's with him is because they want the stuff.
It's a good point.
That's so funny.
And the guys are just validated throughout that whole thing because they could just be like, forget you, I'll just get another girl because everyone's waiting to get on my boat or stuff like that.
That's
and
a good point.
I think that girls will pretend to put up with a lot because of what they're getting from that guy.
100%.
So, and I say pretend because I think the new girls, when I say like the newer generation girls, they got their number. And so they got these guys' number. And so they'll pretend to put up and be the meek little girl while they go off and cheat on them.
Oh my God, it's so true.
Yeah, like go date the guy they actually want to or whatever and just use them for their money.
Yeah.
You know?
It's true.
So even though these guys are like that's what's kind of sad is these young guys that are taking the red pill, like your life is going to be so shallow and sad because you're thinking you're getting a woman with your things, right? Like you have the car, you have the boat, you have the house, but then you're this jerk off guy, right? Like and you're creating this environment and you think you got the woman, the perfect woman. You think you got her. But then because women are empowered now, and that's the flip side, is like, I'm going to go on your boat. Yeah, I'm your girlfriend. Yeah, I'm cute. Yeah, like, give me that money. Give me that. And then they'll go off and cheat on you because there is a lot more women cheating now. A lot more.
I like to call it they have to secure their nest.
They do.
That's what I always say. Women are always scheming.
They really are. I'm
women,
sorry.
I will say,
women are schemers.
As a woman, we can be manipulative as hell.
We can. Absolutely.
You can use it for the good or the bad.
I think that is so well put because it's true.
Yeah.
We are very good at slithering and sneaking and moving in a space to be able to get what we need to get. But it's whether we want to be good people and use it for good or to get what we want. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, but these women, these younger generation guys that are taking the red pill, they're on the flip side is these younger generation girls who see them taking that red pill.
Well,
and they're like, cool. Because we've been bolstering them.
Yes.
As our generations, we've been like woman power, like fuck men, like I can do it all. Like we have told these girls, like you can do it. You do not need a man.
Yeah.
We've said it so much to them, you know?
Well,
it's not a partnership anymore.
No.
And it causes not a lot of confidence in each other's relationships.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, my sister, she is a sugar baby.
Yeah. Well,
and
so much more of that too.
Sometimes is sometimes, you know, she's also young. She's 21, you know, so, like, I give her a lot of grace
Yeah.
with that. I've heard her say a lot of questionable things, like, about alpha men, and, like, I don't know if she's kidding or, like, if she's actually into that, but it seems like, I don't know if she would give somebody the time of day who doesn't have a lot or have anything to give her.
Because that's what we have like I said, I think women power is so important, but we have literally flipped it in the wrong direction.
That leads me to my question for you.
Okay.
So, do you think feminism has left some men feeling alienated?
Yes.
And has the pendulum swung too far?
Yes.
The way?
Yes. I think like I just said, there's no partnership anymore.
Yeah.
I think partnership has gone out the window. Like, women are like, I can do this. You were saying, like, they're happier single, right? Or, like, you know, when they become single, they don't become depressed. They're like, oh, well, you know, they have their friends that surround them. They have all these, like, things. They have TikTok that literally is, like, pro-women all over the place. They have all these things that are like, yeah, you don't need that fucker.
Well,
like,
hobbies, too. I think men can be put down for hobbies sometimes. Like, anytime men are excited about anything, I feel like they can get made fun of.
Women do it. They make fun of them.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I don't understand that. Like, that's weird. Your little hobby. You know, it's like, they demean them and put them down and treat them like they're like, oh, you're just a dude doing your dude stuff, you know, and not give them any type of, like, interest into anything. So, yeah, I think the pendulum absolutely has swung. Do I think women should give up their power? No.
No, I think both can exist.
I was going to say, I think it can absolutely exist in a world where it's a partnership, where men can appreciate a woman's power, but women can appreciate what a man can bring to the table as well.
And
you know,
this is kind of a question for both of you. How do you think that could be done? Like, what is it women can do that still gives them, like, the ability to be, like, a feminist or whatever?
Make the money.
And then still make a man feel like, do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, like, you know.
Like, not putting men down, basically.
Yeah, I think it's also, like, the roles, right?
Yeah.
I think gender roles need to, like, go out the window. But at the same time, like, it's like, I think a man can learn to be comfortable with his woman being, like, the breadwinner, right? And, like, the person who brings the money in. And then also be comfortable with, like, just being her support. And, like, because that, to me, is super manly.
Yes.
That's so manly when a guy's, like, willing to support his woman. And, like, even if the woman's like, hey, I want you to be my house husband. Like, I think a lot of women look at that as a man as being less than. But if a woman wants that, I have a friend who literally wants her dude to be her house husband. That man is no less of a man for being a house husband and caring for her and supporting her. To me, that's more of a man. Like, he's so good in his masculinity. He's like, I'm here. I'm going to support my lady and what she wants. But at the same time, she absolutely supports her dude. Like, in what he wants. So it's not like a put down.
Yeah.
So I think gender roles need to, like, whoop, out the window.
Yes.
Honestly. And I think that helps I think old gender roles that are set in time, that are so archaic, need to go out the window. 100%. And I think it needs to be about support, partnership, and there not being this, like, you're the woman, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you're the man, blah, blah, blah. Like, it just needs to be a partnership.
Yes.
Like it's a relationship. You're part of a team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and whether that team is the woman makes the money and
it can be whatever
the guy
works
does
for them.
other things, that doesn't matter. That's absolutely fine. And that doesn't make a guy any less manly.
100%.
And again, in my eyes, if he's, like, supportive and wonderful and taking care of other things, that's fucking manly.
Yeah. You know, I'm trying to be better because I know me and you both would pop off. Like, I hate men. But it's like, I don't. Like, because I know there's a lot of really, really good men. I would say the majority of the men in my life are, like, really good. But there's those few that are so bad that, like, it almost, like...
And you know what my life was...
Yeah,
my
you've
life
had some pretty traumatic shit happen.
I've had some pretty traumatic shit with guys. So... For me, I think I was really in my era of, like, guys suck. Like, because I was taking my power back. Like, I was taking my power back in being able to support myself. Like, calling the shots for myself. Like, I think I really had to have that far distinction of, like, guys suck and women are powerful. So I could pull myself out of what I went through with guys.
Yes.
I think if you are dating somebody, you should date them for longer.
Yes. You mean like before you jump in and marry them?
Everything. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Definitely. Like, if you're, it's like, if you think you're ready, date a little bit longer.
100%.
Yes.
There's a lot.
Date forever.
I was gonna say, like, I'm here for just always dating.
Don't get married. How about that?
Yep. Yeah. Because I think you can change so much as people, like, you know?
Yeah.
That, but like even on the worst side of just like, I'm going back to being content and stuff, and people do change, and sometimes they just let down the facade they had to get you.
That's very true.
Best foot forward.
Yes.
Yep. And that best foot forward
Yeah.
can be completely fake.
Yeah.
And that happens quite a bit. And I have to say, and I'm sure girls do this too, but a lot of guys do that, where they put on this like, I'm such a good guy, like I'm this, I'm that, and they're not.
Well, it's like what he was talking about with like incels. Like that's how that's gonna be their game at getting women. It's like, well, I'm on your side, da 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 da. You know.
That is if they stay with them long enough to even have.
Do you think women do that? Like put a fake forward, like put something fake forward first.
Yeah, or they just get bored. And they don't tell you. I don't think a lot of women or girls say what they need a lot.
I think that's 100% true.
So they won't tell you what they need, but they'll just go out and find what they need.
Yeah.
So
sometimes they might not know, too.
Or that.
I think a lot of times they want a guy. I think that I think a lot of times a woman wants a guy just to know, and that's so not okay. Like they just want a guy to know what they need, and it's like women and men are very different creatures. They cannot just know what a woman wants.
Yes.
I'm a big proponent, like, you know me and my communication. Like, I'm going to tell you what I need. And even if it's like I'm feeling needy that day, and I, you know, because usually I'm like, I'm so hot, like I love myself, but like there are some days where I'm like, well, I need to hear that you think I'm hot. And instead of being like throwing out little like clues, I'll just be like, hey,
can you just tell me something?
I just need you to tell me that I'm hot. Like I just need this today. I need to feel like, you know, and I think putting your needs out there is super important, because if you're with someone and you say, this is what I'm going to need in this relationship. Like, I'm very much like, I need words of affirmation and I need touch and I, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, if you're upfront about that and the guy's like, nah, I don't think that's right, then you don't need to continue.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
And I'm kind of like Andrew Tate in the certain way of like, what do you want for dinner? And you go, I don't know. What do you want? And then I can't do that. If you can't even decide what you want to eat.
Me. I'm so bad. I'm like, I don't know.
I'm so decided. I'm
like, name off all the restaurants, and then like when something sounds right, I'll say it.
Usually I'll be like, what do you want? And then for like, I don't know, I'll be like, well, I want this.
The whole reason I asked you is because I don't know. So why would I know?
As a woman, and let me know if you think the same thing. Sometimes we like just being told, like, we're going to go here. You know,
that is
or like
really
get in the car, like we're going somewhere.
If they,
you know?
if they plan a
take
date,
that off of my brain to not have to think.
If they plan a date, plan a date and tell me what we're doing. Yes. That is like hot.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like, thank you.
Yeah,
like I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Like that's, you know, and that, like, I think that because there is ways that you.
Well, there you go. And you said you didn't want gender roles or people to do that.
Not always. But
I mean, sometimes
no,
like I want to plan it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if a guy, you know, if you're gonna come in and be like, yeah, so I'm taking you here and here, and we're doing this. It's just nice. Yeah. You know. It's nice.
I know, like, you were saying, how do girls, like, do anything fake at the beginning? I know I did. Like, also, I was young. I was 23. So, like, I know, like, I think a lot of girls do this, too, though. They go along with a lot of things they're not okay with.
I don't.
I know. But a lot do. I think a lot, like, especially in a friends with benefits situation, so many will be like, oh, yeah.
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
100%.
And then they're like, what are we? like a year later, like I don't, you know what I mean?
Because
so,
I'm going to tell you this right now. Very few women are going to be your friend with benefits. They literally are going to angle that relationship into a fucking relationship. They want to be the
cool girl. Like, yeah. That was me. That was my thing.
That's
like, I don't want a relationship. I don't want any of this. Da-da-da. I did.
Yeah.
Once I got to know the person, then I'm like, okay, this is a cool person.
Yeah.
So we're just dating.
I don't think dating's a thing.
What do you mean?
I just don't think it's a thing. I think that like a lot of times you'll date someone, but if you like realize, because I think you're gonna realize fairly quickly. So I think a lot of times, like I understand like dating for a long time, but I think you will fall into a relationship if you like. Let me put that like I think dating is for the first couple, maybe even like month, right? Like you're dating someone, but if you continue off of, after that, like you typically fall into a relationship because like. You're gonna connect. You're gonna be like, okay, that person, like they work for me. Like I feel really connected to them. Yeah. Like I feel like this is a thing. Like you're gonna want to laugh. You're gonna want to put that down.
I think a lot of times too, you can think you want that, and then like you said, after over time, you're like, oh wait.
That's why I think it's important not to be like, you're my boyfriend, you're my girlfriend, or whatever. Really get to know the person. Kind of thing. You know, unless it's like you have this like feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, except I'm like a third grader, so I'm just like, you're my girlfriend now.
Is it true that men can kind of like just grow to like someone like where a lot of women are more picky? And then like I've heard a lot of guys say that like they can make anything work with like a variety of different women. I have. A lot of them say it's because like it's a numbers game too. So like women are more apt to be with who they want to be with, and men will more than likely be
settle,
with,
like quote unquote
who's
settle,
in front
for
of
lack
them.
of a better word.
I wouldn't say like settled, but yeah, it is. I don't know. It's not really for me. It's not really calculated or anything. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys are like that.
I don't think it's calculated, but do you think you could meet someone, right? And you're like, I'm kind of into her. Like, I'm kind of, right? Yeah. But maybe you don't like, maybe you're not like really into her. And then like but you would just continue dating her because it's kind of okay?
Yeah, well, I feel like if you can eventually be friends with someone, then yeah, you do develop that.
Yeah.
Like you end up liking them.
Yeah. If you're with someone enough.
No, I'm picking.
Yeah.
I think a lot of girls are though. That's what I'm saying. Women are more likely to be like, no, I want like this.
Because you have to keep the guy and the friend. You have to put them there.
Yes.
And that is so true. Like you have to, because if you don't quickly get that guy in the friend zone, so like you have to know like, can I continue with this person or can I not? But, do I see anything? Because if you don't friend zone them, then it's real awkward later on.
But then if you're not,
so many awkward situations.
But then if you're not going back on yourself and seeing the way you act, so like. If a lot of girls nowadays will have guy hobbies and they'll hang out with a lot of guys, but they won't explicitly say that they don't want to be in a relationship with them. I'm guessing because they're afraid that like they won't have any friends if the guys
don't want to hurt their feelings.
Yeah, they don't want to hurt their feelings. They are afraid of like saying, no, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, but can we still be friends? And then the guy will just be like, no, because I only wanted to be in a relationship with you. That's why we're friends or whatever. But
I have a question.
I feel like a lot of it they do lead it on, and they feed off of that, and that's what destroys a lot of guys' confidence with women because they're like, she talks to me and she's beautiful or whatever, and why doesn't she want to hang out? Like she hangs out with us all the time. Why doesn't she like me?
Why am I good enough for like a friend, but not to like be with?
Because I think a girl can absolutely have guys as friends.
Yeah.
I think a guy, for the most part, if he's pursuing a friendship with a girl, like if he's in a relationship, I guess that's one thing. But like if he's just going to hang out with a girl, it's usually not to be a friend.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that?
Unless you're gay. But I don't know if you guys seen the Steve Harvey clip where he's just like no guy is your friend. Like,
that's I've heard that so many times, but it's hard because I literally get along with guys the best.
Well,
I have very few girls that I'm close to.
Yeah, but if you don't tell them, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, and make it explicitly clear.
Yeah.
I have, yeah.
Instead of like sleeping on their shoulder and fucking all that
like when
stuff.
they lead you on and like do all like
So many girls
See,
do.
Again, my boyfriend definitely just gets along with women more. So I would typically agree with I don't think men can be your friend, but then I see how he just kind of vibes more with women. And yes, I know with his past.
He does though.
Yeah.
He does.
He's just more feminine.
Get along. He's more feminine.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. But not like, I don't want to say
he's
like,
not gay. I thought he was gay when I first met him.
And he does. He presents more feminine as far as like the things he likes and stuff like that. I always had to be very upfront with my guy. I think I agree completely with Jared with that because like with my guy friends, like I always had to be upfront, and I was upfront because I didn't want to ruin my friendship, because I was stuck so often where if I wasn't upfront, like I thought I was making it clear, right? That you were just my friend. But then they always ended up asking me out. Yeah. And then I would have to say no because I didn't like him like that. And now I wasn't the girl that was like laying on shoulders and I just wasn't that girl. No, I think girls that do that use guys to get the feel goods. Yes. I don't think a girl that's being your friend, unless you guys are like best friends and like this is what you do. Yeah. I think they're just using guys to get feel goods. Again. Yeah, they're being manipulative. They're getting the feel goods. They get to feel pretty. They get to, have that touch, but they don't really want anything with that guy.
I will say, because I was the same way in high school. I got along with guys more. Yeah. And I had all guy friends. And when I would find out that one of them liked me, I felt really bad because then I was like, did I lead them on? But then it also made me feel like, am I not good enough as just a person? Like, they're only hanging out with me because they are interested in me and, like, they don't actually like me, like, as a person. So that was upsetting a lot of the time. But then, my guy friend and I were able to, like, get over that. Luckily, a lot of people aren't. So that was nice.
Yeah, well, I mean, because part of the reason you're friends is you have the same interests. So.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Mine was skateboarding. Like when I was younger, I hung out with all my guy friends. They were skateboarders, and I skateboarded, and I thought it was great, and it was so much fun. Unfortunately, I had boobs, and so like that was literally the focus. They were like, oh, there's boobs, like like I need to see those boobs. Like that's literally like pretty much because like I went from being like I was in 8th grade. I went from literally not having boobs. Overnight, in the summer, I got D's.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was like, whoa, like that. And then, of course, and I got pissed because all my guy friends were like, no, what? Yeah. And then it was just all about my boobs all the time. But I had to keep, like, the guys that were truly my friends stayed my friends because we established that in the beginning, right? But then there was the guys that would come in that would act like they were my friend, and then pretty soon we were like swimming in a pool, and they're like, I dare you to show me your boobs, and I'm just like, you motherfucker! Oh my God! Like, I used to get so pissed, like, fuck you! Like, don't even look at them, kind of thing. So it was just like, you really could kind of piece out who your like true guy, because I think a girl and guy can actually be friends.
I think so,
but I think it has to be literally established.
Yes, and that's where we turn back into the incel thing, is where guys don't have hobbies, so the only girl they meet is the one in their friend group, so they end up constantly getting turned down by all these girls that come through their friend group that get terrified away or scared away because they're all like sharks.
Like going in on
the one girl that's in the group.
Yeah. And it destroys a lot of it because a lot of them aren't really inept socially.
Girls or guys?
Guys.
100%.
And especially if you guys are gamers. Like, I've heard that, especially from our friend, she gets on that game and she has so many guys. Like, I think that when they have a girl, I mean, because even when I played GTA 5 or Liz did, and then we would get picked up in a car, our character, and then drove down, and then they were taking us on a date because all of a sudden we were being driven on the beach. We're sitting here with a gun, but then it was known that they took you on a date, and it's like, that's fucking weird. I'm just like, that's so weird.
That's so crazy.
I could be your mom. That's so weird.
The gaming scares me. It's so scary.
If I turn on my mic at all, it's like a block.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa!
That's crazy.
And then one time I was like real drunk and put me on his VR and I was on one of the games. I was just stuck on the floor. I don't know why, but my character was. And I couldn't get off the floor. And I had all these like freaking high schooler and they're like, I'll help you. I'll help you. And I'm like, I'm just drunk and I'm your mom. I'm just like your mom. And
some guys are into that.
No, they really are.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I have to say.
So don't be,
we're talking about like,
don't be a girl alone gaming.
No, even
Always have
like
game with friends.
Even when you think like if you say like I'm a mom,
they don't care.
I'm gonna lead into another, and I know you have more topics there, but like I'm in my 40s.
Uh-huh.
We are chased by 20-year-old men. Like we are, and I see it, and I've seen it on TikTok because I mean I can't, and like it's an epidemic.
It's crazy.
Literally an epidemic. Because they literally bypass women their age.
Yeah.
They're like, no.
Yeah.
And I want to know why.
Because they're playing the games. Because they're playing games.
Because they're in front of them.
They're not serious.
But they,
that too. Yeah.
But they are just beeline it. I can't, like, when I went on the site, it was all 20-some-year-old guys just like, bam, ba, bam, ba, bam. And I'm just like, like, I want to run away now, you know?
Well, I think
also guys my age are creepy.
Your age? I don't know any
for
your
me
age, so
so far for me. I mean, not so far, but like
I feel so far removed from so much of this because I'm like in a little bubble. So I just like hearing. I like hearing all the things.
Also, I get asked and hit on by 15-year-old McDonald's workers. Can we stop that, please?
You do, though. That's so weird.
But can we stop that, so please? Weird. Can we just not?
Yeah.
I will never, in any world, any fan, like, ever, give you my number, McDonald's worker boys. But also, there's no way in any world that I find you something that I would ever even want to talk to.
No.
So, like...
I think you have to blame Pornhub and COVID.
I so agree. So agree with that. I really do.
Am I the stepmom? I don't want to be the stepmom.
That's what I'm saying. People are
stuck
into
in the
that
washing
shit.
machine and everything.
All right, so this is getting kind of political again. All right, so according to Gallup News, 40% of young women 18 to 29 identify as liberal, while only 25% of young men do in the same age group. And here's one thing. If you go onto the DNC, so like the Democrat website, and you go under the list of who we serve, it lists almost every single type of person except men.
Yeah.
And additionally, historically, women have been more likely to identify as religious and attend church services than men. However, that's flipping with Gen Z. So now we're seeing more men, more religious. Mm-hmm. And again, this comes back to my question. I was just going to say, we saw it with Love is Blind. Is it, do you think young men are shifting more right wing because they feel ignored by the liberal politics?
No, I think they've always been.
So I feel like
and women are more open to things.
Yeah.
I feel like being a white male is not cool.
I agree with that. I do.
It's not.
I'm not saying I agree with that statement,
but
I agree with what you're saying.
Society-wise, it's not.
I have been proven. But yeah, you're definitely starting on the down thing. But it's hard to say it without sounding racist or misogynist. But I feel like guys are becoming more religious because they see it's an easier out. If you want a girl that you know is going to stay with you, it's probably a Christian girl who's going to marry you because of that.
Oh my God. I never even thought of that.
I didn't either. It's true.
And if you have been turned down and you have all these emotional issues, like you said before, you're going to turn to substance abuse and stuff like that. You're going to go to church.
Right.
You're going to find a preacher's daughter who can fix you.
See, this is why I'm glad we have him on.
Because
I never would have thought of that. I literally never would have thought that.
I've been, you know me.
Yeah.
I was raised in the church. Like, I know. Like, that is the type of women that
wild.
these men want. They will find it there.
Wow.
So I don't think so with, like, being liberal, I don't even know what that is.
It's like liberal is like you're not Democrat. You're not like you're just. it's a different belief system. You're not like left wing, right wing. Mm-mm. It's just like you're here for human rights.
Yes. And what's the difference between that and libertarian?
That's where it comes from.
It's the same thing.
I identify as a libertarian, like a true libertarian. Like, don't tell me what to do. I don't tell you what to do as long as we're not hurting anybody.
100%. Yeah, that's very much how I
where
feel
I
too.
stand.
Well, then you can get even deeper with libertarian, with pedophiles and stuff like that. So
okay, well,
yeah.
Don't hurt anybody.
That's why I said not hurting anybody.
Not hurting
not
anybody.
harming anybody. Any animals and nobody.
Yeah, no
kids,
harm to none.
Nothing.
Harm to none.
Right.
Unless you're a pedophile, then harm to you. Because I will
obviously illegal shit.
I won't kill you.
I don't agree.
I won't. But scratch that.
Or you cannot be on a bus and just walk by yourself and make your own decisions.
Wait, what?
Well, that's kind of what libertarian is, really.
I feel like most of the problems we have today is because people want to put you in a box.
100%.
But that's how your brain works. You put stuff in a box.
Yeah. I hate a box.
Yes.
But you probably not be in the box.
I'm not in a box. I'm saying I identify with libertarian, but I'm not. Like when I am just independent.
The question is, do you think young men are shifting more right wing because they feel ignored by like more left wing politics, basically? Because like I said on the DNC, they list everybody except men. You know, they really kind of pushed for this feminism thing, which again, I don't think there's a problem with feminism. I
think women should have power.
Yes.
But I don't think it should have to tip.
100%.
I don't, Again, I think it doesn't have to be with, like I said before, like they're shifting right wing because they want more of the 1950s kind of stuff where it's easier to get a woman because she just does all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. I literally did not even think of that. That is so wild to me.
Yeah. That's
crazy. All right, so women are now earning 60% of bachelor's degrees. Mm-hmm. And a study from Pew Research shows that today, 47% of women aged 25 to 34 have a bachelor's degree compared to just 37% of men. Do you think, as a man, do you think schools are failing boys by not adapting to how they learn?
I think men are naturally lazy and they don't want to go to school.
Do you think that
I think they realize...
are more rambunctious too, though? Like, they're definitely not...
I have a boy.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because so they're gonna... A lot of guys are, like, more attracted to the blue-collar jobs because it's I believe it's a fad, and it sucks, and it takes away jobs for people who actually can do the blue-collar jobs instead of buying the gear and looking the part. But a lot of them want to do that, and that's where you get back into the like right-wing mentality and stuff like that. And a lot of guys are realizing that they make more money faster, they get that 100%. Recognition faster
with
and
trades.
So like if I want a girl, I need this big truck. I need to work 28 hours a day and like make that money for that truck to get that girl, even though you live in a trailer.
Wow. No, that's a good point.
And women like blue collar guys.
100%.
They do.
Yeah.
Even like
they can help around the house.
Yeah.
They can fix the things.
Yeah. Well, they find it attractive.
Yeah.
They find the blue collar guys attractive. Like they are drawn to that because they're a man. You know, and like. That's how.
There we go. Yeah.
And then we're back to the roles.
Yeah. I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's the roles again because I see it on TikTok.
See, it's ingrained in men just as much as it is women.
Yeah.
So some have proposed delaying boys from age. You have to be 5 to get into first grade.
Can I answer this?
Yes, and this is more directed towards you. So there are talks of delaying boys, hold them back a year to let boys start first grade at 6 rather than 5 and continuing women at 5 because they are just mentally, even physically women age. Like, I've been this height since middle school. Okay.
Yep.
So, like, what are your thoughts on that as a mom with boys?
I have girls too.
Right.
So as a mom with girls and then my boys, I can say that the girls went in at the age they did and they were fine. My boy has always been about a year behind. He always starts catching up at the end of the year, every single year. And absolutely, emotionally, boys are behind girls.
Yeah.
Girls are much, and I think physically,
maturing wise.
I think, but I can go on a whole nother thing about things that are food and additives and all that kind of stuff. But like, being that parent and having girls, like they never had a problem. Like they were always right on target. My boy, now my youngest boy is a different creature. He's different all the ways, because he's just a little genius over there. But like having like a normal IQ or like even slightly raised IQ, it was always emotionally a year behind. I can honestly say, like, even with my youngest, emotionally very much behind. Not like the same caliber of a girl. Like when I look at his friend that he has and him, like there's a difference there. Because I see like the girls I'm watching 8-year-olds, right? The girl wants a boyfriend. She wants, she's already into all that.
The boys are like, what?
Well, then when the boy, when she gets a boyfriend, and literally was like, I just want you to hold my hand, and then he was like, he literally said, but I'm 8, like, so he's like, I'm just 8 years old, like, like, and it's like, but that's the mentality. She's like raring to go, and he's like but an emotional scale, and he's like, I just want to play and do my thing. So I think absolutely I'm a strong supporter of waiting for a boy to go into kindergarten until he's 6. Girls I think are absolutely fine, but I think that should be how it is.
And I guess it could be case by case also, because I'm sure maybe, but I would say the majority,
I think they should be allowed. I think you should have the option to hold
your kid, you know what I mean.
I've had friends who've been held back, and it does take a lot out of their self-confidence.
That's because it's considered held back, right? Yeah. And
but if it was just standard, do you think it would be beneficial? Or
like if they're starting school late, not being held back as far as but if they're just, that's what they do. They're just starting late. If
you want that, why not have different schools for males and females?
For boys and girls.
Yeah.
They do.
I think it does kind of. I think that creates a lot of problems too. And then I'm sure because traditionally, I think not always, but I think traditionally men like to be the older one. So would that hurt their confidence, being surrounded by older women?
But wait. They would not though. They would not, because they're starting at 6, but at the same time, there's 5-year-old girls starting. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So they would be the older.
Yeah, they wouldn't be around the older girls.
No, they would be the older.
So, but I feel like if school was catered more towards them, if it was catered towards the females, they went to that school, and then the males went to the other school. It's hard, but and then middle school, you're together again. I don't know.
But, I think that creates a whole nother world of problems. Or even, because let me tell you about girls.
No, if
we're going to be pawing at getting back.
If you want to,
we're not going to be.
If you want to go to school to learn stuff, then you would go to the same school as you would go to a same-sex school.
Yeah.
But if you want your kid to have social abilities, then you would put them together.
Exactly. Yes. But no matter what, because they have all girls schools and they have all boys schools, no matter what, they find a way.
100%.
They find a way. They want to.
I think it makes you more crazy.
It does make you more crazy. And I'm going to say, in the terms of being super religious, in the religious household, women are made to be you do not, here's your purity ring, you don't do this, you never do this, blah, blah, blah. I had a friend who was very sheltered, and you weren't allowed to be around guys and all that. She turned 18 and left her parents' home, and within the first month she called me and had a train pulled on her.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And literally, and videotaped.
Oh.
Yeah. And she was crying, but she was like,
awful.
I wanted to do that, but they videotaped it. And I'm like, oh, what?
Excuse me?
And then it just didn't stop. She went balls to the wall because she was so restricted and held back.
Wow.
From things.
So you're homeschooled, and then you send your kid out to labor camp in the middle of the day.
Labor camp?
Yeah. So they socialize and get stuff done, and they come back home and learn.
Labor camp?
Or that sounds extreme. But they have their hobbies, their activities, their post-school activities.
Prison. Go to labor
camp now.
I think a lot of homeschoolers do that now. They have like events, because I have known a lot of homeschoolers to be emotionally stunted. They are a lot farther back than people that are in. I think there's just got to be a happy medium somewhere, because like there is like I hear middle schoolers and I'm like, good God, like you guys are middle schoolers, like stop that, like this is not. But then I think back when I was in middle school and I'm like, but at the same time, I think it's gone a lot farther now.
I definitely do, because I was not. I think I've always been in a bubble, always. My whole life. Because, like, even in middle school, I wasn't even thinking about sex. I wasn't even around people
that were... It's hard for me to comment on this because of what my life was.
Exactly. You have a very different...
Yeah.
A very different...
That's what it's really hard for me to comment on, because I never thought normally.
Yeah. But I know a lot of people have the same experience as you. There's a lot of people who do. So it's, like, normal. But, like... It wasn't.
But I think that on that note, that's a whole nother topic.
Yeah, I was going to say.
That's a whole nother, like, talking about, like, sexual abuse and stuff. That's a whole nother topic. Because there comes promiscuity and there comes not the other way, from that. But that's, X that out right now.
I think the learning thing, it could just be geared better towards both people.
Both
I agree.
learning styles, too.
Well, there comes the Montessori school. Why does a Montessori school, which that is exactly what it does, and it's only up until a child it's like for preschool, and they teach them in the way that they learn best. Why does that stop? We're going on a tangent, and we're going to be really long again.
No,
so
this is for.
Why does that stop?
That is 100%.
Because I'm going to tell you why.
Okay, you tell me.
Because they are setting our children up to be worker bees. Period.
Yeah.
Like, they want them to know how to be in the system. Yep. They want them to know how to take and follow rules. They want them to do it exactly how they lay it out, because that's what our country wants.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. I think that's
worker
100%
bees.
true.
That's what they need. And that's what the political system is upset about, because they're losing their worker bees.
Yeah.
Because women are now saying, I don't want kids. And men are like, yeah, maybe I don't want kids either. And then they're just like, yeah, I don't want to be the norm. And so they're losing those workers, especially with the Gen Z and the Gen Alpha. They're like, yeah, no, fuck you. I'm not going to work every day nonstop. Like, I'm not going to do that. So they're losing their worker bees, but that is why school is set up the way it is. Yeah. You follow rules, you do it no matter what, even if you don't want to, even if it's hard for you, even if it doesn't work for you, you follow those rules.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yeah. No, I agree.
My rant over.
This is crazy to me. The report, Teens and Pornography, found that 73% of teen respondents aged 13 to 17 have watched porn online, and more than half, which came in at 54%, reported first seeing pornography before they reached the age of 13. Well, 15% of those teen respondents said they saw porn for the first time at the age 10 or younger. And for better or worse, online porn is shaping the world's view of sex, sexual relationships, but nearly half of those teen respondents said that they felt that online porn gives them helpful advice when it comes to sex. And then this is crazy too. So Pornhub is the 4th most visited website in the US behind Google, YouTube, and Facebook.
Not anymore.
Pornhub totaled over 2.14 billion visits during a single month of 2023, more than Instagram, Netflix, Pinterest, and TikTok combined. We also know a normal human relationship is messy, and that there are disagreements, and porn doesn't do that. So do you think porn and AI relationships too, like they have AI bots and stuff, like girlfriends, are making men less motivated to pursue women?
I hope so.
Oh no.
Oh God. What? Can you elaborate, please?
Well, if you take away porn from a lot of people, they're gonna find a way to get it somehow.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Like, because then this is what recently happened in Florida. I don't know if you know, they didn't ban porn, but they basically kind of made it really hard.
You gotta put your whole ID.
Yeah, and I'm like, I feel like I get what they're trying to do in terms of, because they're claiming they don't want minors to see it, you know, but I do think that when you take that away from a lot of people, it could open them up to being more likely to commit a sexual crime.
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
Well, I think if you're a good parent, you understand what your child is doing and what he's going through. And if you don't understand that, you shouldn't have him on a computer.
I have I'm a parent, and I will tell you that I think it's perfectly normal for a kid or a teen to look at porn. I think it's
a kid though.
Okay, I'm not normal, but I'm saying like
if you Google
not
boobs.
a kid. I'm saying like but usually around the age of 9, 10, they do start interested in boobs.
Yeah.
It really does. It starts with boobs. I have 2 boys.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
And they're interested in that, and they have a computer, and so like he said, Google boobs.
Right.
And you just get Google images, right? And I think it's like natural. I just think that parents, when they be like, you absolutely cannot look at that. Like, cut
you
it
make
off,
it like evil.
And you make it disgusting and dirty, because my parents very much made it dirty, disgusting, like everything. There couldn't even be kissing on a TV. And they were freaking out. And I just think if you make it a normal topic to talk about, no, they don't want to talk about it with you parents. Like, I get that.
No.
But like, if you make it where it's like it's not a big deal, I don't think they're going to be getting as addicted to it as some people do, because it's not bad.
Well, if you make it hard for them to access,
yes,
they're going to learn how to hide it, and they're going to learn how to hide other things.
Yes.
But my question is, do you think they should be using porn as an example of what sex is?
No, you should be explaining to them what.
No,
yes, I agree with that.
A healthy relationship.
I have an actual thing that I went through with one of my kids.
And you shouldn't be having kids unless you are in a healthy relationship,
100%.
so they can see what the healthy relationship is.
Unless something happens, and
of course,
So there is times that you end up having children, and you have to make it work, and that's okay, and that's understandable. But you just get yourself into a healthier mindset. Right. So you were talking about kids, right? I had one of my kids, because they were going onto a website, and it was like for like cartoon stuff. They went off onto a porn site, like a cartoon, like furry, like porn thing, like and like hentai, like and hentai can get a little like. And so my mom, who's insane, saw it, and she came. She goes, Heather, so as I was looking at porn, but and I literally stopped her, and I said, "You're gonna stop. I'm gonna go talk to. Do not say another freaking word." That's why I told her. I was like, "You're gonna stop."
Yeah.
So I went downstairs, and I was like,
"I'll cut it." I said, "I'll cut it."
I was like, I just realized what I did, and I was like, what I did is I sat down with him, and I had a conversation, and I was like, this isn't portraying real. I really went, because it was he was a young age, but not like young enough where he didn't understand. I said, I just want to let you know, this is not normal, what it is like when you're in a relationship. And then I had to kind of go into the talk, like, I said, but this is not. And I really put it in the head of him. And he's come to me later on in life and was like, Mom, I'm really happy you handled it the way you did. Like, you just talked to me, and it like made me aware. He's like, because I accidentally stumbled upon that. And he's like, but I really appreciate that you didn't freak out and like shame me. And I was like, why would I? But I had to go upstairs, because my mom notoriously would be on the phone telling all of her family and everyone like, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And so I told her, I was like, do not touch a phone. No. You will tell nobody. You will not shame anyone. This is a normal occurrence.
Right.
But I'm going to say, because of how I am with my kids, they come to me with anything.
Yes. Yeah. And that's how it should be.
Well, you should also explain to them that they can get themselves into a lot of trouble.
I have.
If what they're searching on.
We actually have said that with our kids. We have explained to
them
like,
that I want to look at girls my age, and then they have the FBI knocking on their door.
Oh my God.
That's what we've actually shared with them. We even share with the fact that if you are exchanging photos at their age with each other, that they can be nabbed for pornography.
Like, oh my God, that's a new fear unlocked.
It is true, though. We told them that, like, if you're passing, because one of them had a thing where everyone in school was passing this girl's picture around naked. And we told our child, we're like, is that on your phone? I hope that did not come to you, because you, even at your age, will be in trouble for this. Yeah. This is child pornography. That's what this is considered. Even though they were teens, I was like, that's what this is considered. And so we were very much big on just letting them understand that, like, you can get in trouble for this. And I think it's really important to understand that.
Yeah.
And sure enough, the ones who did this of this girl, they now have to register as a sex offender for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
My God.
So you can ruin your whole entire life with what you think is just a prank.
Yeah. So in your talk, you would say that. You
Yeah.
would say
Yes.
this could take over your whole entire
Yes,
life.
because they will for the rest of their life have
Now,
to register
put your
as a
coat
sex
on.
offender.
We're going to the casino.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're like, there's going to be stuff that is fun to do,
Don't pee in public.
and it could be addicting.
When you're out partying, don't pee in public. You can literally get nabbed and have to be registered as a sex offender for the rest of your life. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah, it is.
It is. So anyways, yeah. I think it's very normal. I think there needs to be healthy talks around it.
100%.
I think there needs to be a healthy understanding that instead of shaming and being like, you can't look at that at your age. Like, because I mean, mine's another situation, but I will say, before I got to be on computers, because we had computers at school, but we didn't get to have computers everywhere.
Right.
We would walk ourselves to the library and go into a section where they had 1970s books called The Joy of Sex, and we would look through all the books. We found a way.
Right.
Okay? We found a way.
Yeah.
So
It's like
without
Jurassic Park.
having the internet, we found a way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying. It's just natural
It's
curiosity.
Human nature.
It's
to
human
be
nature
curious
and
in that.
natural curiosity.
Yep. Yeah.
I
that's
think if a
perfect.
lot more people got on board with that and they treat it as normal and natural, which a lot of Europeans do, nakedness is normal.
Yeah.
Nakedness on TV is normal. They don't look at it as disgusting and dirty over there.
Some
They don't.
places, some are very, very
No, I mean like
behind us.
in like England specifically, in Europe, they don't. They don't look at it as they have nudity on regular TV, and they because it's like a normal thing. I don't think that we need to run around being like, "Here's my boobs," you know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying like, it's not. I think if you started treating
Just
it
normalize
as
it.
normalize it, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's another topic. By the way, I want to completely cover women being predators because that is such
that's
a
a good
thing,
one.
and it is not covered enough.
Yeah.
Because I've had too many guy friends. Speaking of guys that don't speak about it because of being in that norm. You talk about guy roles that they get taken advantage of by an older woman. Like I've had so many guys that were 12, 13 and moms, fucking moms did stuff to them. And then they were, they couldn't act like they were victimized because they were told like, oh man, that's so cool. That's so awesome. But those women preyed on those guys.
Yeah.
And that's a topic I'm going off on because I have so much on.
So studies have shown that boys without positive male role models are more likely to struggle in school, relationships, and even with delinquency. At the same time, fewer than 3% of kindergarten teachers are men, while women are breaking into traditionally male-dominated fields like fighter jets. Do you think society is failing young boys by not providing enough positive male role models? And if so, who's responsible to fix this? The family, schools, media, men themselves?
I think this is a really, really difficult one.
I think that's like a 3-part thing of like women, going back to what I said earlier. But then it could, so it could be the male role model of that household is like I said, the jerk or whatever. And it could be the female of the household just wants multiple partners or whatever. And it has a lot to do with what they see in the house.
Yeah.
But I feel like
I'm talking about even outside. So like,
yeah, if you don't, they're going to go out searching for it, and it's up to the parents to figure out who is their, like, who are they looking to be their male role model or someone. So like, again, that's another responsibility for the parent to like understand that they do need a male role model and what that person that they're looking up to actually is.
But I think that there's that problem of, is the male role model traditionally in that male role, or can that male role model be a kindergarten teacher?
Right.
A more feminine role, if you will.
I think I think I worded it a little weird.
Men taking traditionally women's jobs.
Yeah. If you have the normal gender role where the man has to take care of the family, he can't take care of them in a teacher role.
Personally, I've never had a male role model, but what I've done is I've went and taken jobs to teach me how to change a tire and do all the other stuff. So if you make it healthy for them to go out and look for all those basic needs and stuff like that, then I definitely think that's the thing. You don't need a role model, period.
You don't need a male.
You don't need a role model at all.
Yeah.
If
you can be one yourself.
Or you can be one yourself. As long as you were learning the skills you need to learn.
I think some people, yeah.
I mean, having a role model does help.
I was
Andrew Tate is not one of them.
No.
I think that's that is my hope, is that we could have more positive men in places that kids can look up to.
Yeah. I agree.
Especially boys, because I mean, I know, like, and I'm not a boy, so I can't really answer this, I guess, but I think that they would prefer to listen to another guy that's like a positive person.
Yeah.
Than like always a woman.
Yeah, well, yeah, especially younger boys are not going to listen to a girl.
No.
Talk to them.
No. Like, unless it's like their parent. Their parent.
Well, that's just like that's just like kindergarten thinking. I was gonna say that. He's an older man. Like, I know when I was in middle school, we had a gym teacher. He was a football player.
Yeah.
And everyone looked up to him, and I think he got in trouble for something crazy, but yeah, everyone looked up to him because he seemed like he had it all together.
I don't really want my sons to look up to men like that. I don't.
We're saying positive.
Yeah.
I'm saying a positive role model.
But as long as it's not, like, for me, my thing is to throw out those roles, right?
I'm not saying it has to be in a specific role, just a positive male figure.
Yeah. I would love a guy to be a role model that teaches feeling your feelings.
Yes.
Being open with your feelings, putting your feelings out there, being emotional, being like
So do you think we need more of that?
I do.
Okay, that's what she's asking.
Yeah, I think we need more role models. I'm sorry, more male role models, but I think they need to be not your traditional role models.
100%. See, to me, that's what a man is someone who is in touch with their feelings, but can still be not a provider in a money sense, but a protector. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, my father literally, when Jake was crying, said, "Wussies cry," and I went off on him. I moved out because I was just back for a moment. I literally got an apartment the next weekend, and I was like, "You will absolutely never tell my son that again, because men cry." Period. Like, and but I'm saying, like, that's traditionally where the role models, like, you gotta be a man. Yeah. You gotta, you gotta suck it up and take care of your women and blah, blah, blah. And I think that needs to be thrown the hell out.
Yes. Because there's women that have that thought process too.
I think if men were more in touch with their feelings and able to express them, they would be a lot healthier people.
Agreed. I think we need men.
But there is a deep end. But yeah.
100%.
I think everyone's got a deep end. Women got a deep end when it comes to their emotions too.
For Heather.
Okay.
Do you think feminism unintentionally sidelined the importance of a male role model? Or is it more about men disengaging from caregiving roles?
Both. I think men have always disengaged from caregiving roles. I agree. I think they've always done that. I think there's a few men out there who have stepped in and try to be a caregiver or whatever, but I think traditionally even younger men believe it's not their job and that they are to, they're not going to change the diaper. They're not going to, take care of the crying child. So I think it's both. I think women have had to do so much of that, and now we've moved into being providers too. So I think women have taken on both those roles, and we have done it well. So we can provide and we can care. And I think that is where it's kind of gotten a little messy because we found this place where we're like, well, you aren't giving me anything I need. So why do I need you? You know what I'm saying? I do both. Yeah. And I'm fine. So why do I need you? And I think that's where the messy has come in.
100%. And I think there is like probably a subconscious thing of, I don't know how to word it, but like, I'm sure, because you were saying like, well, I don't need you. But I think there's still like that subconscious for the end of like kids that kind of do.
I know.
Because I think of it, even for me, like.
But that's what I'm saying, it's messy.
Yeah, it's
because
very
that's
messy.
what women moved
it's like,
into.
yes, you don't need it.
Yes.
But like, you need it.
But I watch my boys.
Yes.
I watch them when a nice guy comes around and they want to connect with them. They want to have that connection. So that's why I'm saying that's where the messy has come in, because women, because they have been given so little from men and made to, like, again, like, oh, you're going to care for the babies, you're going to do this. But then we moved into these roles of like, we can provide too, that it became messy. Yeah. And we have gotten to this place where we're like, we don't need you. And we start making men obsolete. But then I watch my sons and they do want to connect with someone because they're men. They're boys.
Yes.
Yes. Can me and Liz raise our boys and they're happy and healthy? Yes, but they're still boys that want to connect with someone that's like them.
This is the closing question.
Okay.
This is for both of you guys.
Okay.
Is the rise of incel red pill culture a system of men being left behind or an excuse for toxic behavior? And how, in your perfect world, would we be able to fix that without villainizing men?
I feel like it's both. Like, they're being left behind because that's the fad to do.
Yeah.
And men that are left behind take like hold of the toxic behavior because they're resentful towards that. Mm-hmm. And it is a cycle. And if you treat anyone like just like with cruelness, they're gonna like, there's been like studies of like, have you heard of like the child that was like named winner and the other one was named loser?
Yeah.
And then like he become like the loser like does way better than the one that's become winner. That's not helping anything that I'm saying, but if you tell somebody,
I get
if you tell somebody that they are something from day one, eventually they're going to be like, I guess I am that person. And then they will just shut themselves off and go into like the corner and just be resentful. Like, so unless you have that healthy balance.
Yeah.
I think balance is key.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're not corrected, you're going to continue.
Can I just say, I think it's about looking at each other as humans and not male and female, but like looking at us all that we are human, we have humanity, we all have hearts. And that like, even though you might think one way about like males or females even, you know, like, because males have a lot of hard thoughts when it comes to females.
Yes.
You know, we're bitches, we're, you know, ice queens, where, you know, I could think of many things that a man with, like I have been, if I reject a guy, like not rejection, but I literally, when a guy came up and, can I get your number? And I was like, oh no, sorry, I'm, you know, and he literally said, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, if we can just look at each other as humans and with humanity, with love, like, and understanding that we're all just trying to maneuver this world. I think we all have pretty similar goals in the end.
100%.
We want to have love. We want to be loved. We want to love. We want to be healthy, happy, like, and most importantly, even though most people won't admit it, you want to be your true self.
Yes.
If we could all just look at each other that way and maneuver in that space, I think that's how we can come to a better world.
I so agree.
You know, but I think unfortunately, because there is Andrew Tates and there is women that speak a lot of toxicity and have these views of like the sugar babies that are like literally were beat down, or they see their previous generation and they're like, yeah, not gonna be me. Like, no, I've seen my mom get abused. I've seen this, I've seen that, not gonna be me. I'm gonna use that guy.
Right.
Like, I'm gonna cheat on him. And it creates the cycle.
Yeah.
And so now we have, because of how women were treated, women are being the ones that are treating men this way.
Yeah.
Now it's creating a cycle.
It is.
So now men are angry and they're like, yeah, I'm taking my power back, but the power is constantly toxic.
Right.
So if we could just have a power that is of love and humanity and understanding, that power is not toxic and it would breed a better world. It just would.
Agreed.
Yeah. So take the phone out of your hand. Realize who you are before you start taking in other people's views.
Yes.
So true.
100%.
I love
Couldn't
that.
be better said.
I love it.
Understand who you are before you have anyone else's views in your head.
Agreed. I think that's
Beautiful.
perfect. I think that's a perfect way to end it.
Way to end it. Yeah.
Thank you for being on here.
Yeah.
It was nice to hear a guy's perspective.
Yep.
There was a lot of stuff
And you
I
didn't
learned.
come off misogynistic. So
Not at all.
you did
Oh yeah,
it.
I want to put he thought he was going to sound misogynistic.
Not at all.
He heard the subject of this and I'm like,
But that could be again where the culture is now.
I think
Yeah.
so. I think
There is
anytime
two
a man
women here
talks
beating
about
me down.
anything. Anytime a man talks about anything,
we
now,
put
I
it
feel
between
like,
us. We're like,
Yeah.
like he's on the hot seat now. All right.
no,
Well,
appreciate that. It was a good one.
that was fun. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.